Yes, good evening to all the listeners out there of SABC. Thank you for the opportunity for connecting with us here in Palu. As I speak to you, Palu is a city under lockdown. Yes, it's a city of desperation. It's a city of destruction. As far as you could see, this is our experiences. We began the day with helping for the retrieval of bodies side by side with certain rescue teams from across the globe. It was a heart-wrenching and a heart-touching moment when we ourselves had the opportunity to retrieve an entire family from the rubble. This specific area of Bologna, it's a very, very fantastic phenomenon and something that has not been heard of before. When the earthquake had actually taken place, the earth actually kind of liquefied. The earth kind of liquefied, and in that moment, it engulfed the entire area of homes. Hence, we find that there are many, many bodies still trapped in the rubble in this specific area. Thereafter, if one has to analyze the shoreline, our teams also have visited the shoreline today of Tennessee Beach, and once again, widespread destruction. Many homes have been washed away, many homes have been ravaged to the ground, including places of worship and so on. As far as the eyes could see, one could only see destruction. The beach looks very, very, very calm, very, very beautiful, but only one can imagine on last week, Friday, 1 week ago, how this same beach produced 13-meter high waves. If one has to analyze the geometry and the symmetry of the entire lagoon, one will find that it is very, very elongated. Hence, the geologists have mentioned that due to the shape of this lagoon, this helped to gain momentum of the waves, and up to 13-meter high waves were produced.
Sure, it's
yes,
incredible.
We were quite fortunate to...
Mr. Patel, you sent us a video of rescuers. We can see some people in fatigues, and we'll play that right now. We'll bring it up, and you'll see a body being retrieved from the rubble. We're going to show that to viewers and tell us how this coordinated effort is working on the ground.
Yes, so what we call it, we have many different groups, certain rescue teams from across the globe, and the Al-Imdaad Foundation, we've linked up with a certain rescue team. It's a very coordinated fashion. There are different certain rescue teams in different areas of this entire area. When I'm talking, it's a bit of a suburb. It's a little, maybe two square kilometers. An entire area of 2 square kilometers was actually engulfed by the ground, when the ground actually liquefied. So that can only lead you to the imagination of how many bodies are still trapped under the rubble. So it's very coordinated. We have certain rescue teams in different parts of this area trying to retrieve the bodies. Also, there are different family members which come out and try to identify a home and say to people and say to the certain rescue workers, here is a home, here was a family member of mine in this home at that time, and we need to retrieve those bodies. That's exactly what we experienced today. We would have never ever known that there was a certain home in that specific place or that specific point until it was pointed out to us by one of the family members, and that made it very easy for us to retrieve the family and bodies from that specific point.
All right, we're going to stay on those visuals showing bodies being recovered. How many people are being brought out alive right now?
Sadly, since we've come here, none have made it out alive. There hasn't been one report of anyone that have made it out alive. One must understand that 7.5 on the Richter scale in this specific region, coupled with the tsunami, and then, of course, yes, geologists are taken aback by the seismic activity of the earth turning into liquid. And this has never been experienced before. And just a few days ago, on the same island of Sulawesi, there was a volcanic eruption. So in a few days, so much has happened on this island, and the magnitude of disaster is so vast and so great. Hence, and it has been very, very difficult to find much survivors, unfortunately.
And this means unlikely, but basically it's done now.
I would say yes, in my assessment, it is highly unlikely that we would find any survivors. Nevertheless, we do pray to the Almighty that He allows some survivors still to come about. But the chances of finding survivors right now is highly, highly unlikely. One should also understand that when the tsunami had come through, it had brought a lot of water across into the city. And a lot of people that were trapped under rubble and so on that could have been rescued have now drowned. So this is the reality. It's so much to comprehend. It's so much to comprehend. It's so much for the heart to understand. But this is the reality on the ground, sadly.
Sure, it is incredible, and you've given us some insight into what's happening in terms of the shortages. We showed those queues at a gas station. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has warned that nearly 200,000 people need urgent assistance. So those are the survivors. Where do you even start with those sort of figures?
Yes, indeed. What I want to say to you, the level of desperation is something which is unprecedented. One cannot understand. A few days ago, there was a lot of looting, there was a lot of stealing, and it was actually mayhem, no law and order whatsoever. That's the reason why extra security had to be brought in, extra police forces had to be brought in, and extra military personnel had to be brought in, highly armed. And since these people have come in, since the security has been beefed up, we find that there is some kind of law and order now coming back to the city of Palu. Before this, it was making it extremely difficult for humanitarian agencies such as the Al-Imdaad Foundation to operate because of the security situation. Now that there is some kind of law and order, there is some kind of normality, it is making it a bit easier for us now to trickle in emergency relief aid. Till 24 hours ago, the major routes coming into the city of Palu were under lockdown due to security reasons. But that has now been opened, and aid is now trickling in. The Al-Imdaad Foundation is one of the organizations trying to do emergency relief. Yes, what I'm saying to you, collectively, we need to come together and we need to do the best that we can to extend our humanitarian hands and hearts to the people here in Palu, because the desperation which I'm seeing here today, it brings back the memories of the desperation we have seen in the infamous earthquake in Haiti in 2010. That's the same level of desperation which we are seeing. And this is a natural phenomenon. It's a human survival instinct that when people need food, when they need clean water, and when they become desperate, then they resort to other means of survival to try and get what they need.
And what we're seeing is a city basically flattened. So all these people are homeless. Are you seeing a lot of people just walking around wondering what to do? What is it like to be there?
Yes, so in different parts of the city of Palu, there has been kind of camps, makeshift camps, which have been established. For example, as I'm speaking to you right now, I myself am in a makeshift camp. Apparently, there may be about 2,000 people in the camp that I am presently in right now as I speak to you here in the evening. So there are many such kind of makeshift camps across Palu city. And this is the reality on the ground for now.
All right, thank you very much. Quari Ziyaad Patel from the Al-Imdaad Foundation, a South African organization lending a helping hand in Indonesia. It has become a recovery operation, basically. He's saying nobody being brought out alive at this stage from that rubble, and those visuals are incredible. That city just demolished, really. All right.